Welcome back to Windy City After Dark, and we've been spending this whole hour talking about your kids and drugs, and we've invited our panel to come back because your feedback has been just so strong and overwhelming. So G's in the audience now to ask some more questions.
Oh, thanks, Val. First question is from Bob. You want to stand up, Bob, and ask your question?
What is the cost for rehab, and does insurance cover any of it?
David, that's a great question.
There are different treatment centers at different price ranges. Insurance does cover a lot. We're lucky to have the Parity Act right now, and that's helping more people access treatment. But it does depend on the different levels of care. We're talking anywhere from $300 to $1,000 a day.
Okay.
Wow.
And obviously it's more expensive if you're in treatment that's, you know, or staying there overnight. Is how can people actually break this without going into a rehab program where they're isolated for 28 days?
I think the most successful journey is to pull away from home and get into a 28-day center where they can focus on your nutrition and your physical health, mental health, spiritual health, and you can really reconnect with self and learn the foundation of what it's going to be like to get sober and stay sober. Outside, there's a lot of stressors. Your using friends are still calling you. You still have all your outside expectations. It's not the reality that everybody can unplug and go to a 28-day residential treatment center. If you can do it, I would certainly recommend that that be your first stop.
Right.
And then you transition into like an intensive outpatient program like we offer at Hazelden in Chicago. It's a beautiful step-down program that helps you kind of reemerge back to work or reintegrate back into your home.
Right. And Cody, that's what you're doing, right? Aren't you doing outpatient as we speak? Because you're 7 months clean now.
Yeah, I've been, I finally got stepped down to aftercare. I only go twice a week for 3 hours, but I was doing an intensive outpatient program, which was 4 days a week for 3 hours.
And it's working though, right?
I mean, I can't go without it. I need that in my meetings, though. I have to have it, you know. That's
you have to have it because you're still getting those urges?
Well, that and because those are the people that support me, and I know those people can help me, you know, if I do get the urge
to use.
Yeah, those are the people I can rely on to prevent me from going back to it, you know. They're, you know, they've been in my shoes.
Sure.
So they know what it feels like, and, you know, just a phone call and someone coming to pick me up and taking me to Starbucks
or whatever, right,
can be a lifesaver.
Yeah. G?
Yeah, this is a question from Melissa. Stand up.
What is the first step that you would do when you realize that your child has a drug problem? Who would you call?
That's a good question. Cody, what about you? I know you said that your friends were charged with, what was it again?
Drug-induced homicide.
Drug-induced homicide, and that was your wake-up call. But once you decided you were going to go to rehab, you were going to turn your life around and get clean, who did you call first?
That's a hard question. I believe I was with a friend that was a sober friend, you know, and I went back to my house and, you know, told my mom, hey, I need to go to detox because I was physically dependent on heroin. So, you know, I go to detox and get medically treated, and, you know, so I'm comfortable and I'm not going through that withdrawal. And then I moved down to inpatient rehab from there.
Can I pick up on a thing here, too? Because parents, you go to parents, sometimes parents don't want to hear this, or they're in denial, or they have anger issues about it. You have been through it, and explain a little bit about what that first contact is like when the child comes to you and says, I really need help.
Well,
our child never came to us and said he wanted help. He was totally out of control, and when you're in that stage, the last thing you want to hear is I want help. So we had a professional intervention. We had a company come in, and after he had been in rehab over and over, we had an intervention, and it was a very hard thing to do, but we had 17 of his friends and family members sitting around a conference table telling him that he had to go away and how his drugs affected our lives and his friends' lives dealing with him. And
what did he say in that moment at the conference table? Was he receptive at all?
You know, he was told in that meeting that don't call any of us. Only call us when you're ready to make that move to rehab. And we were told on the other end, if we called you, you were to say, are you ready to go? If not, goodbye.
Right, because he was calling for money. Was he what would he be calling for if he wasn't calling to say, I'm ready to go to rehab? Well,
money wasn't an issue, unfortunately, for him. I say unfortunate because he had a job and he was making good money. The only reason he was to call us was he was ready to go to rehab. And eventually, about 2 weeks later, he did call us and went to rehab. But he was in rehab in and out, in and out, in and out, and didn't work for him.
He didn't stay. He just...
Because you can leave the facility on your own?
Yeah, once you're 20, once you're 18, you can leave whenever you want.
So if you have a problem with your child, make sure you get them into rehab before they're 18. Once they're 18, you have no control over it. It's really a big difference.
Really an important point to be made, I think, for a lot of parents.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Were you going to say something, Gail?
No, I just think that, you know, the shame has to be removed from being an addict or having a problem, because there are so many people that don't think it's, you know, a disease. And you know, it's a disease. I believe there's a choice when you're 9 to experiment, but you know, the choice is not whether or not you're going to become an addict. Nobody says, I'm going to become an addict.
It is a disease because the insurance companies, we know how insurance companies are. Right. They don't want to pay anything, but the insurance companies will pay for 28 days of treatment. Yeah. So they recognize that it's a disease, so it is a disease.
Thank you guys so much, all of you so much for watching and being here today, and for you for watching Windy City After Dark. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 11 a.m.